Now at 5, a snag in plans to bring a multi-million-dollar facility expansion to Carthage. Plus, an event to help more child care facilities set up shop in the 4 states end.
The Trump administration is pushing for trade talks with China while threatening to abandon peace talks to end Russia's war with Ukraine. I'm Erica Brown at the White House with more on those high-stakes negotiations.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Schreiber Foods is putting their expansion plans in Carthage on hold. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Schreiber Foods announced their expansion in Carthage in December. The expansion would include construction of a new production facility, more than 100,000 square feet. Now Schreiber Foods has alerted the Carthage Economic Development Corporation that they're indefinitely pausing the project. Schreiber Foods cited uncertain economic conditions as the reason.
It was disappointing for us, but ultimately, again, this is a pause. They didn't say they're not looking at Carthage, they're not doing any of those things. And frankly, given some of the uncertain economic conditions that we all see on a daily basis, it's not surprising.
The $211 million investment is expected to create 150 new jobs in Carthage. Ghetto Tacos teamed up with Our Best Million Meals at Carthage Fire Department today to combat food insecurity among students. According to Our Best Million Meals, Missouri ranks 16th worst in the nation in the percentage of students who are food insecure. A percentage of every taco sold stays in Carthage to support the community.
Weekly, we pack about 350 weekend food packs for students pre-K through 12th grade, and we send those home to students who have been identified as food insecure, and we give them enough food to help get them through the weekend until they can get back to school on Monday.
These donations stay local in the community. They help our friends, our neighbors, everyone that we see from day to day.
Harvest says Arkansas ranks worst in the nation for food insecurity. Oklahoma ranks 5th worst. Kansas, on the other hand, does better than the national average. Our Best Million Meals will travel to other parts of the 4 states next month. You can support the cause online. You'll find a link in this story on our website. The Crawford County, Kansas Health Department held an event today for future child care providers. The orientation session provided information for those interested in becoming a licensed child care provider in Crawford and Bourbon counties. The session covered information on the regulations pertaining to establishing a legal daycare service, specifically in-home daycare and non-residential daycare.
There is absolutely a huge need for childcare. Crawford, Bourbon, Cherokee, Neosho, the whole state is in a childcare drought right now, especially here in southeast Kansas. Infants especially, parents are finding having a hard time trying to find infant care for their kiddos.
Licensed providers undergo a background check and are required to have certain first aid, nutrition, and safety classes. Nice weather out there at the moment. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty good Wednesday for us today, but we do have some scattered thunderstorms which have been popping up. You can see little clusters across the region. If you get stuck underneath one of these guys, it may pour on you briefly, 5 or 10 minutes, but fairly heavy. And once we lose the heating of the day, these will decrease. But you can see one just north of Miami, Commerce, over toward Quapaw, a couple little guys near Lamar, a little cluster, Nevada over toward Stockton Lake. These are just going to kind of pulse up, pulse down. As we go through the evening hours, the bigger storms are going to stay out across central and western parts of Kansas. So anything out there now, pretty much gone here over the next few hours, and it looks pretty good. As we go through the evening hours, most of us were sitting into the upper 70s. Better chances for rain next couple days. We'll look at that here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon. There was tough talk from the White House today with President Trump accusing Ukraine of prolonging a killing field. On the terror front, he predicted a fair deal with China. Erica Brown has more from Washington.
In an impromptu appearance on the White House North Lawn Wednesday, President Trump told reporters talks are underway with China for a potential trade deal.
We are going to have a fair deal with China. It's going to be fair.
Are you talking to them actively now?
Actively. Everything's active. Everybody wants to be a part of what we're doing.
Speculation about a deal boosted the stock market, where the trade war has caused weeks of volatility. At a speech in Washington, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said tariffs are necessary for rebalancing international trade, with China in particular.
China's current economic model is built on exporting its way out of its economic troubles. It's an unsustainable model that is not only harming China, but the entire world.
As the White House pushes to talk tariffs with China, U.S. officials are threatening to walk away from talks to end Russia's war with Ukraine. President Trump made it a campaign promise to end that conflict, but Vice President J.D. Vance said the U.S. is prepared to drop it.
We've issued a very explicit proposal to both the Russians and the Ukrainians, and it's time for them to either say yes or for the United States to walk away from this process.
The White House says President Trump's patience is running thin. In a social media post, Trump accused the Ukrainian leader of prolonging the killing field. He said a deal on the war is very close and urged Volodymyr Zelensky to get it done. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
White House says President Trump planned to sign 7 executive orders this afternoon related to education. Public viewings are underway in Vatican City, where the coffin of Pope Francis now lies in state, for the next 3 days. The body of the Holy Father was transferred to St. Peter's Basilica overnight in a solemn procession led by Catholic cardinals. The pontiff passed away on Easter Monday at the age of 88 from a stroke and heart failure. Tens of thousands of mourners are expected to pay their respects to him before his scaled-down funeral Saturday in St. Peter's Square. The papal conclave to determine the Catholic Church's next leader is likely to begin in May. Still ahead, what you might not know about CPR.
Drowning is a leading cause of death in the U.S. I'm Michael George with the new CPR guidance that could save more lives.
Plus, what a little extra sleep could mean for the brains of developing adolescents. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, drowning is the #1 cause of death for children ages 1 to 4. CPR can be life-saving, but as Michael George explains, the guidelines for performing it on drowning victims have changed.
What happened to 3-year-old Judah Brown could happen to any family. His mom, Christy, says Judah slipped away at a friend's barbecue and got into the pool. When they found him several minutes later, he wasn't breathing. Bystanders tried to resuscitate him with chest compressions, but not rescue breaths.
And I do believe that if he had gotten those breaths, if we had known to do those breaths, then he possibly could have survived his drowning.
Until recently, guidelines for CPR have focused on chest compressions to save drowning victims. But now the American Heart Association and the American Academy of Pediatrics have updated their guidelines, saying rescue breaths are also critical.
It makes a difference.
Dr. Cameron Desfoulian explained both compressions and breathing are life-saving.
Somebody who drowned and then their heart stopped, the reason it stopped was there was no oxygen. So if you don't somehow provide them that oxygen back, it's really not all that helpful to circulate the deoxygenated blood around their body.
Michael Smith of the American Heart Association teaches CPR.
So Michael, let's say we have a drowning victim here. Under the new guidelines, what do we do?
I'm going right into compressions. Right in the center of the chest, I'm pushing down at least 2 inches at a rate of 100 to 120 per minute.
After 30 compressions, he starts rescue breaths.
Pinch the nose, tilt the head back. 1 breath, 2 breaths.
Christy Brown started the Judah Brown Project, which helps educate adults and kids about preventing drownings. She says the change is long overdue.
We in the drowning prevention community have long time believed that the rescue breaths are absolutely necessary for resuscitation after drowning.
And every parent should be CPR trained. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The World Health Organization estimates nearly 250,000 people die every year due to drowning. Just an extra 15 minutes of sleep can help adolescents' brain development. A study published in Cell reports found that 11 and 12-year-olds who slept an average of 7 hours and 25 minutes performed better at cognitive tasks than those who got 7 hours and 10 minutes of shut-eye. Researchers point out the recommended amount of sleep is at least 8 hours. Family and friends who care for someone with dementia are more likely to be physically aggressive or neglectful if they regularly drink an excessive amount of alcohol. University of Texas health researchers found any alcohol use also led to greater odds of poorer outcomes, including grabbing, biting, yelling, and not helping the dementia patient with daily hygiene. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our Pet Vet on Call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about deer in your flower beds.
And of course, we're going to be tracking some pop-up storms the next few days. Details coming up. Well, of course, it turned out to be a pretty nice day for us today. Temperature is once again right around 80 degrees, and then those cumulus clouds popping up this afternoon. We've had scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some of you, not a drop. Some of you have had some pretty good downpours over the past 10 or lasting 10 or 15 minutes. Great shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. So let's take a look. Not quite as numerous as what we had just an hour or two ago, but you can see clusters across the region. And these just don't have the upper level dynamics to become too strong or severe. This guy just north of Miami has been weakening, kind of pushing into southern parts of Cherokee County. A little bit more lightning associated with this thunderstorm near Nevada over towards Stockton. They're not really moving. They're kind of drifting north, kind of pulsing up and down. Very typical of kind of like summertime thunderstorms across the region. The bigger storm, severe threat out across western Kansas, but this wave will start to up our chances for at least more widespread showers and thunderstorms as we get into Thursday and Friday. Temperatures great, upper 70s to near 80, above average, looks good. Here's 7th and range line, 78. The winds aren't too strong, so it's actually a pretty nice evening if you want to get out dodging those storms. 70s, 60s, ground's drying up a little bit if you want to get a little mowing in throughout the evening hours. Let's go into the next couple days. Any thunderstorms we do have out there pretty much gone once we lose the heating of the day. We get some mid and upper level clouds streaming in. Here's Thursday morning. As we go through the day, a lot of mid and upper level clouds. Most of the morning should be dry, low to mid 70s by noon. But once we get into the afternoon, similar to today, maybe a little bit more numerous, some hit and miss, kind of moderate to strong storms across the region, and then kind of dying off as we go into the evening hours. But late tomorrow night, we could get a batch, some indications, a batch of thunderstorms trying to drive through into Friday morning. Those could be a little bit stronger, maybe low grade severe. And then we have a front slicing through with a few showers on Friday, switching our winds around out of the north. Not really much cooler, just kind of a wind shift line. 60 in the morning, 75 by noon. Let's go 77 for a high on your Thursday. We're still watching early next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for at least the threat to get some strong to severe thunderstorms into the region. Heading into the weekend, most of the rain shoves south with that front. We'll be on the northern edge, could get a few showers. Again, most of Saturday should be dry. Couple little showers possible Sunday as a warm front lifts through. Again, most of Sunday also dry. I really think most of Monday is going to be dry. It's late Monday, Monday night, showers and thunderstorms will start to increase, and that's when our bigger severe threat will start to show itself. 77 on Thursday, some afternoon storms, mainly morning storms on Friday. Most of the weekend dry, even though we have some slight chances, and then a little bit better chances for thunderstorms the first half of next week.
Some people in isolated areas might get total amounts of a lot of rain.
Yeah, it's very true.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, a little money lesson.
It's Financial Literacy Month. I'm Jill Schlesinger, taking the mystery out of bonds.
Topping today's Consumer Watch, another major organization is predicting a U.S. economic slowdown this year due to President Trump's trade policies. This time it's the International Monetary Fund. The IMF now projects the U.S. economy will grow 1.8% in 2025, down 0.9% from their January forecast. The organization has also downgraded its global economic growth projection to 2.8%, down from 3.3% in January. It's Financial Literacy Month. To get into the spirit, CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger dives into bonds and what they're all about.
The bond market has made headlines recently, but do you really understand how bonds work? When you buy a bond, you are essentially making a loan to an entity, a government, a state, a municipality, or a company. The loan is established for a predetermined period. That's the term. And the loan has a fixed rate of interest for that term. The entity doing the borrowing is on the hook for interest payments. They usually pay every 6 months or at the end of the agreement, when it repays the obligation in full. If there's a high risk that the borrowing entity will not repay the bond buyer will demand more interest. That's why lending money to the U.S. government, which has always repaid its debts, will earn you a lower interest rate than lending to a risky company. You can always sell a bond before the term is up, but bond prices can fluctuate. If interest rates are higher than what your bond is paying, the price of your bond could be lower. In New York, I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Our pet vet on call up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, more on the nuclear contamination in the St. Louis area the residents say has made them sick. You might be surprised to learn how long it's going to take to clean up. Then on KOAM News at 6, Melissa Alexis will look at the reason Schreiber Foods has halted its expansion plan in Carthage and what could come next. Plus, the legal petition to pull the license of a Joplin dentist. And Lamar High School celebrates their state football championship tonight. We're going to tell you what they have planned. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. A lot of flowers are blooming across the 4 states, and these April showers will bring even more Mayflowers. And that brings us to today's question for our pet vet on call. How can I prevent the deer from eating my flowers?
Well, that might be kind of tough because once deer learn that you are growing tasty snacks, they might risk a lot to come in and get them. There are deer repellents that I understand smell really bad. They have to be reapplied a lot, and it might be too stinky for even you to handle, so that might not be such a good deal. There's motion activated booby traps like sprinklers, sound blasts, light blasts. I think, though, if the treats are good enough, they'll probably get used to that too and keep coming in. Fencing your flower beds or gardens in might be one way to do that, as long as it's not like right around your house or your whole territory. And the other thing is to plant your flowers in boxes that are high so the deer can't reach them. Or if it's around your house, fake flowers, metal flowers, not quite the same thing, but they're just as pretty and they're not edible.
Yeah, good point. Thanks for the question. We invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, just send it to PetVet, KOAMTV.com. Dr. Eva Dudak from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. All right, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen this 3 to 5 year old female shepherd mix named Bella. She has moderate energy, mixes well with other dogs, and is indifferent toward cats, they tell us. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we've chosen this 1.5-year-old domestic short-haired cat, a female named Maggie. The society says she'd love to show you her Jingle Ball collection and is excited to curl up and watch movies with your future family. With her future family, I guess your current one, if you're looking for a pet. Why not check out your local Humane Society? They always have a lot of great ones out there.
Absolutely do.
Some people getting some storms even as we speak.
Some hit miss, scattered thunderstorms through the evening hours. Not too strong, so we don't have to worry about that. We're also going to have some pop-up ones again on Thursday afternoon and especially on Friday morning. Temperatures stay nice, mainly in the 70s.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.